It's so nice to have you all here. My name is Motola Mustafa, and I will be, of course, officiating our monthly in-house training. And I'm so excited because not only is this a fresh start, it's also the first in-house training that we're having for the year 2024. I mean, there's something about New Year. It's new opportunities. It's a time to refresh, to go back to the drawing board and see what didn't work and fix it and just plan better. So New Year's always get me very hyper. And it's nice to do this New Year with you guys. I'm glad everybody made it into 2024. And this year it's not going to just be an ordinary year for us. We are going to achieve all that we have set our hearts to in Jesus' name. So I want to welcome everybody to the Engage Youth Africa initiative, our monthly in-house training. This is a period for us because we are an initiative that we focus on impacting the lives of youth, on training people, on helping them to discover that they are made for more and there's more to their lives. It is important that we also train ourselves. We also better ourselves because we cannot give what we don't have. And so that's why this training for us, it's important because it's not going to make sense that we are training people and then we are lacking in the necessary skills that we need to live a proper exemplary life. And that's why this is a very important training for every volunteer and even external parties. So please, firstly, I would like to introduce, for those of us that are new here, I would like to tell you about what we do. So Engage Youth Africa initiative is a non-governmental organization that sees to training youth in Africa and in Nigeria and within the African continent on how they can live better, fulfilled lives, how they can break out through whatever limits that they think they have and achieve all that God has destined them to be. And we do that by community outreach, by organizing seminars, by having programs where we teach and we enforce these ones with the mindset that they can do all that they want to do and they have no limits. We have our headquarters in Lagos. However, we have a branch in Ibadan and in some West African countries like Kenya, Ghana, and we hope to cover the whole Africa as soon as we can. We are also affiliated with the United Nations SDGs, and we work towards making sure that youths live a full life. So, if for other details, if you want to know more about what we do, you can simply just go to our website at www.ai-initiative. That's EYAI initiative, the organization, where you get to see our achievements, our beneficiaries, our sponsors, and other events that we've heard. And so if you are new and you're not a part of our volunteer, I believe that this would even help you to want to be a part of us. So welcome once again to our monthly training. I want to see emojis, please. I want to know that I'm not talking to myself. If you can unmute and just say a word, say hi, hello, I'm here. Everybody, please. Am I talking to people? Hi, Abdurrahman. Hi, Dr. Adetunji. Hello, Kes. Hi, Miracle. Two Miracles. Hello, Bukola. Hi, Tokwe. Please, everybody, I want to hear your voices. I want to see that someone is actually listening to me.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Hi, good evening. Good evening. So nice to meet you, Bukola. So, oh, nice. Raymond is joining us. Hello, Raymond. Welcome, 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 welcome. So before we get into the meeting proper, so today, can anybody tell me is there anyone here that is not a part of like the volunteers proper that's not on the group chat? If you are, just signal, because I want to say something and it's an information that most of the volunteers have. They're private too. So please, is there anyone here in this chat that is not an official volunteer of the Engage Youth? I will take that as okay. Oyelakin.
Yeah, this is good evening, everyone. This is the first time of joining the meeting.
Oh. Good evening, Mr. Oyelakin. It's a pleasure to have you join us. Thank you so much for being a part of us, and we hope that by the end of this meeting, you would see the value in what we do, and that you want to be a part of us. Welcome, everybody. Say welcome to Temitope. Hi, Temitope. Welcome. It's so nice to have you here. We're really glad to have you here. Okay, so for those of us that are actual volunteers, we already have a set topic for. Sorry, excuse me, I think my network is hanging. So we already have a set topic for today. Can anybody just tell me what our topic for the monthly training is? Can anybody tell me what our topic for today's training is? What's our topic for today? You can write it in the chat, you can unmute and say it. Everybody aside Bola and Dr. Gbolahan, any other person. Hello?
Setting personal goals for growth.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Aditunji. Setting personal goals for growth. That is so important. You know, there's something about starting a new year and starting it right. The Christians will say that if the foundations be destroyed, what will the righteous do? I mean, it's not saying like if you don't get it right beginning of the year is ruined, but there's just something about having a plan for how you want your year to work out. It makes you feel a bit more grounded, and that you're not just living life by chance and luck, that you actually have set plans in place. And it can be quite hard if you don't exactly have a goal in mind and you set plans for these things. It can be hard to follow through because there's so many things at stake. There's indiscipline, there's chance, there's excuses, there's every reason not to follow through. That's why today we're going to be talking about setting personal goals for growth in all the areas that we want to grow in our career, be it relationships, be it education, be it even our spiritual work. We're going to learn today how we're going to set personal and achievable goals, and not just pipe dreams, but goals that we can actually work towards. And so today, our facilitator for today is our very own Dr. Architect Gbolahan Pearl Oyelakin. And so before he comes on board, I would like to read a bit about our facilitator for today. It's a lot, it's really plenty, but I will read and compress as much as I can. So Dr. Architect, so he's a doctor, he has a doctorate, and he's also an architect. So Dr. Architect Pearl Gbolahan Oyelakin is a result-oriented, a business and technology expert with over a decade experience working with both private and public organizations and institutions. He's also the founder and CEO for Engage Youth Africa. These are very initiative, a non-profit Pan-African youth-led organization whose primary focus is leading youths in local communities in Africa to take climate actions, drive climate change solutions, and empower youth in communities to be change makers. So Dr. Architect Gbolahan has a lot. Okay, he is also the founder for Casting Crown, Casting Crown Co., an organization that delivers services. He's also an architect. He's also the vice president for membership and outreach of Project Management Institute in Nigeria. He's the president of International EdTech Association at the Context School of Business and Technology, Washington, D.C. He's an appointed member of Research and Development Team for Green Building Council in Nigeria. He was also appointed as the PMI ambassador for construction professionals in Nigeria. He has so many awards, accolades attributed to him. And aside that, he keeps learning. That's one thing that Dr. Architect Gbolahan does. He always learns, never ever stops. He's always taking one course or the other, one exam or the other, one doctorate exam or the other. And it is our honor to have him here as our speaker, because we know that he cannot have achieved all of those things without actually setting goals to make it easier. So everybody, please join me as we welcome our very own Dr. Gbolahan Oyelakin. Please, a round of applause. Everybody clap, clap, clap. Let your clap emojis flow. A round of applause, a round of applause, a round of applause, a round of applause.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Tolani. I was almost afraid probably I'm in the right room or not.
Why not?
Thank you for the accolades, and I could see everybody clapping their hands. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be in the room with everyone. I can see the harries of names, everyone familiar to me. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Adetunji, for joining. Tope Oyelami, thank you for joining. And all my colleagues in the community, impacting lives, thank you so much. Oh yes, I can see Cecilia too joining from Kenya. Thank you. God bless you all. I promise you one thing. This is exactly 18 minutes past 4. We are going to be timely with this. We initially planned to end this training within an hour. I promise you will keep to time. Okay, so let me just quickly give you a background into some of the things I'll be sharing with you before I share my screen, because it's good to have a context for conversation. And I believe that someone, as I hearing me, will be taking notes, because it's not just enough for you to be part of this training without having not just an information, but things that you can take back to go and glean on and be able to apply. So knowledge is not just as important as having wisdom. Okay, so I believe that this session, I'll make it as interactive as possible so that you can also be able to have interpreted wisdom that you can apply in different areas of your life. Okay, let me just quickly do a short, okay, I think some people are joining in, but those that will join after now will not be able to participate in this. But I just want to, just to have an idea of the audience that I'm dealing with for this conversation. So I would like all of us to type. I'm sure you're familiar with this site, but if not, I'm putting it in the chat box. Okay, so just click on this and then you follow the next instruction. mentimentor.com. Okay, so click on this and wait for the next instruction that I'm going to give everyone. Are we all on the same page? Do we all get that?
Yes, we do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So by now, you can all be on that website. Now, I'm sending you a use code. So you just type the use code in. You don't need to do any other thing, no registration, nothing. But as you are right there on the home page, you will see a place where you can insert use code. So before I drop in the use code, the next interface that will appear is a question you need to answer. I mean, just to get an idea from you what your understanding about growth is all about. So you'll be seeing a question there that says, what comes to your mind when you hear the word growth? What comes to your mind when you hear the word growth? So you can go ahead, you can just input the use code I just typed in the chat box now. Input in the use code box, and then you have opportunity to answer with 3 words, just words, simple words. I just want to have a clear understanding about your perspective about growth. So we can do that within a minute, 60 seconds. Do we all get
Sir,
that?
the code is not correct. It's bringing like the red sign.
Oh, sorry, my bad. It's the other way around, 246258878. That's my bad. Sorry, please try it again. It's 346258878. Thank you for that. Is anyone in the room now? Do we all get it?
Trying.
Okay. Just type the use code inside and then it will come up and then you can input 3 different words. You see first, second, third.
That's not what's showing here, sir. It's showing thanks for joining, sign up for Mentimeter, send me the results. It's not showing the actual question.
Oh, okay. Let me see what's wrong on my end here.
Or is anyone seeing the question? Am I the only one having this challenge?
Okay, let me send this link. Click on this link and let's see. I just sent the link now. Just click on that link and tell me what you can see. Can you all access it now?
Same. I think he's bringing out the same thing.
The same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I think, yes, I've
Sign up
seen the
for
problem. I've seen the problem. Please try again now. I've seen the problem. I needed to prompt the presentation access. Please check again. Otherwise, because of time, we'll just close it out. Just use the chat box. Can you access it now?
the same link. Yes.
Oh, okay. So let's just leave it. Let's use the chat box to answer the question. What comes to your mind when you think or when you hear the word growth? So let me see the words running in the chat box. Okay, Raymond said advancement. What else? What comes to your mind when you hear the word growth? What else? Let's keep it coming. Improvement, better, nice. What else? What comes to your mind when you hear the word growth? I'm sure it's a familiar vocabulary, it's a common vocabulary. We hear it oftentimes. So I just want to get a perspective on that. So what do you usually think when you hear the word growth? Increase, manner of development. Okay. Any other person? I'm sure you can see different or varying perspective to that. Manner of okay, I think someone else increased from a small form to a bigger form. Evolution doing something to hard up and not remain the same. These are powerful, powerful perspectives. Any other person? Any other person? I just want to see the way we perceive growth because our perception is key when it comes to the area of growth. And we see in part, we understand in part. So not just about people's visual impairment. I'm just talking about our internal perception to issues like this. That's why I'm trying to get our understanding, development in all aspects. So you can see now, whereas some of us are actually looking at a particular aspect or some aspect, someone is thinking about all aspects as regards growth. That's fantastic. Maybe 2 other people. Any other person that wants to give us an explanation into what growth means? What do you think? I mean, when that word just drop in your mind, what comes first to you? What impresses your mind first about growth? Okay, seems as if we've all stopped talking. Okay. Tolani said mature again. Mature. I love that. I love that. Mature. Okay, one more person. I need one more person to give us a perspective. And then I think we just shut it down from there. One more person. Growth. Okay. So I think we can end at that point since nobody else is talking. So this is very interesting. Let's now see. Okay. Thank you, Shegu. Talk about improvements, achieving what you set to do from Toby. Awesome. Awesome. That's growth. Awesome. So let's see my own perspective and my own submission so that you see my premise for this. Let me share my screen now. Please just confirm if you can see my screen. Can we all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I guess that's affirmative, yes. So I was in between. Let me just confess to us. Okay, because I know this is going to be like a familiar conversation. So originally, not until this afternoon, originally I wanted us to have this as more like a fireside chat, because when anything that has to do with growth, especially when you're talking about setting personal goals towards that particular trajectory, okay, it's more of a subjective matter, you know, understanding certain principles and concepts, then you subject it to individual journeys, individual pathways, right? So I was more like, okay, should I just have it as a conversation with everyone so that from there I'll be able to see how to drive in the basic principles, because principles apply to all scenarios, right? That's why we need to look at some of these principles, then look at certain frameworks by which we can now begin to tailor into different individual scenarios. But I just thought about this afternoon that, okay, I mean, I'm just imagining my audience are just going to be exposed to some of this concept for the first time. So for knowledge sake, which will necessitate constant review, I mean, let me just put some thoughts together. So this slide is not exhaustive, and that's why I'm, putting up this disclaimer initially. This does not in any way project all that I would naturally want to have as a conversation with us. So this is just to guide the thought flow in our conversation, right? So I'll still try as much as possible to make it very practical. So we're going to be looking at setting personal goals for growth. As the moderator rightly said, I mean, the year is just beginning. Even though we have all spent 27 days out of 366 days, the year is still very, very fresh. Okay, when you do maths and look at the on average how many percentage of that is still very infinitesimal. I mean, it's still very insignificant, so to speak. So let me say this aforetime: whatever it is that you have done or you have not done, whatever mistakes you might have made in the past 27 days that was spent, right, uh, has little or nothing to do with the overall achievement for this year. I'm saying that with all sense of responsibility and from experience. So don't feel bad if you have not really done so much with your time and with your life this year. You still have all the opportunities after this conversation, after this training, to set things right and begin to pursue your goals, right? So that's what we're going to be looking at. And for the sake of learning, there are three key things, not too complex, not too implicit, just three key things that I believe we should all take away at the end of the day. And for some of us that are very studious, we might take away quite a number of things. But my flow thoughts, my thought flow rather, will be focused on just these three learning objectives. One, I believe at the end of the day, you're going to understand the concept of growth. And that is why I started with understanding your perspective about it. So you juxtapose it with what I'm going to present to us about what growth is all about. Then the second one is for you to understand how to practically set goals, okay, towards that trajectory, because growth becomes a trajectory, as I will explain for you to see. So how do you set or create plans, robust plans for you to be able to move towards the climax of that trajectory, right? Because the one of the essence of living is for everyone to get to the climax, as you will see in the different aspects of life. Everybody pursues or everybody aims to get to the zenith. So my goal here is to ensure that you understand how to create the plan and how to set proper goals for you to be able to get there. Then the third one, sorry for the typo, the third objective is for you to know the different tools. I mean, if it's going to be for knowledge sake also, for you to know different tools and techniques in measuring growth. Okay, so I've been able to create just 2 out of a lot of different tools available there, you know, from a management perspective. That's personal management or human management perspective. 2 tools that I'm going to be sharing with us. Okay, so let's dive in. Please, I will also ask the moderator to help me with time management. So please, when is like about 15 minutes to the end of my session, please let me know so that I can be able to organize my thought properly. So the first question that should come to mind is, what is growth? Honestly, I mean, there are things that when you want to approach life issues, because what we're discussing is one of life issues. When you want to approach life issues, the best premise to start from is establishing boundaries for definition. And how do I mean? We live in a world that is largely polarized. We live in a pluralistic society where the meanings, underscored meanings for things have become subjective. In fact, it's so bad that we need to, for us to have meaningful conversations, we need to even define what it means to be human. You know, so that's the kind of generation, that's the kind of world and society we live in now. Everything is so subjective. I mean, what does it mean to be a male? What does it mean to be a female? You see certain movements trying to give definitions to all of these things. What does it mean, to be a human? So it's also good so that we are all on the same page on this learning process for us to understand what growth is all about. In a simple word, I know we have all used different terminologies, different concepts, different words, you know, to express our perspective about what growth is. But follow me through, for the sake of what I'm putting forward to us. I would define growth to be a process. Please take note. Okay, growth is a process, of ensuring transformation. Growth is a process of ensuring transformation of an object. So that object can be you and I as an individual, as an entity, or it can be an organization. But in this case now we are looking at persons. So we are looking at individuals. So growth is a process of transformation of a person. Okay, so when you are looking at, also embedded in that definition, the meaning of transformation can be positive and transformation can be negative. So if you want to really embrace what growth really means, we are talking about positive transformation. Positive transformation. So growth is a process of ensuring positive transformation of a person. Let me keep it at that, right? So that you can easily remember. I can go on and on to explain the other sides or other things of this transformation process. Okay, you are looking at a very good example. I will also give to us is when you look at an animal called a caterpillar. How many of us are familiar with the animal called caterpillar? In biology, there is a word that we usually use to explain the growth of that animal. Can anyone remember? I'll see whether we are good students now. How many of us can remember? There is a particular word in biology that we usually use to explain the process of growth.
Metamorphosis.
Oh, wonderful. Sorry, who is that answered the question? I have a gift for you.
Raymond.
Oh, awesome. Tolani, please remind me. I have a gift for Raymond. So, the process of transformation that we need to embrace when we are talking about this growth endeavor is the process of metamorphosis. So you are emerging, because when you're talking about metamorphosis, we are talking about the concept of metamorphosis, we are talking about the emergence. The emergence. We are talking about the revelation. We are talking about, revealing all that you are, starting from the small a, growing up to the capital A, and then moving on to other letters until when you get to the final Z that is called zenith. Are we following through? So along the path, there are certain things that you must do that will define the process as being meaningful. Otherwise, you can be living within the process and yet not making sense of that process. And I stand to be corrected. Many of us may be finding ourselves in this kind of situation. You've lived long enough and it seems as if you have not grown. And let me tell you again that the growth we are talking about here now is not a function of age. We are not talking about biological age, of how long you have lived, because growth and the process of metamorphosis is not a function in this concept. Now, when you're talking about person, is not a function of how long you have lived like Methuselah. No, but how you have been able to maximize all the opportunities that the number of years in terms of human timeline now has offered you, has pretend to you, how you have been able to maximize opportunity. So let me just round up the whole concept and the whole thought flow around growth to be that is a process of ensuring positive transformation of a person, whereby you maximize all available opportunities, because that is the only thing that can guarantee you getting to the zenith. If you don't maximize opportunity along the way, you cannot attain to the zenith. So you begin to see what makes the difference between two people that were born on the same date. Perhaps they are twins, or they were just fortunate to come through, okay, to the surface of the earth on the same day, the same hour perhaps, but yet are not growing at the same rate, are not going at the same trajectory. One is seriously late behind, while the other, has gone way behind, and you could see within timeline that there is a serious gap within the achievements. So this is exactly what growth is. So you can begin to look at it, whether these are the things that you are also embracing as a matter of how much you have lived on earth. Okay, let's leave that and also look at other concepts from our topic. We talked about goals. What are goals? What are goals? Can we just quickly type into the chat box and let me see your perspective again about what goals are? What are goals? I mean, if you hear the word goals, I'm not talking about football here, because I know we have some football lovers here. Arsenal fan, Chelsea fan, PSG fan, Man U fan. So I'm not talking about football goals. I'm talking about the concept of goals, looking at it from strategic objectives. So what are goals, or what is a goal? Anyone? Okay, I can see someone dropped in there. Goals are action plans or set goal targets, achievable targets. Okay. Any other person? What are goals? Please, I'm looking at my time. What are goals? What do you understand by goals, or what is a goal? What's a goal? Okay, not to waste our time. The person that said achievable targets, you're correct. When you're looking at the concept of goals, because when you don't understand these underlying principles of the meaning, defining meaning, chances are that you will get it wrong when you begin to interact with the process, when you begin to interact with what the principles are. Okay, because principles and processes in itself are not sufficient to make the person, to help the person realize the whole idea. Okay, so you need to also be able to appreciate the true meaning, because there is truth in all of these things as different from what we perceive to be truth. Okay, so truth is not subjective. Truth is truth. Truth is holistic and truth is absolute. Okay, so the absolute truth about goal, or the meaning of goal, is that it is not just a desire, right? Because desire can be a desire without a pursuit. But when you're talking about goal, okay, is a pursuable desire for you to be able to achieve certain results or certain outcomes or certain product. I mean, whatever you can define as value, that is what goal is all about. So the pursuable, because sometimes we have desires and we find it very difficult to pursue those desires. It's simply because they are not pursuable desires. They are just mere, phantoms. There are things we call wish washing. There are some certain things we call daydreaming. Desire can also operate at that level. When you just wake up from your sleep or slumber, having watched certain things in trances, and you're just like, oh, how much I wish I can have a phantom Rolls Royce right now. So there are certain things as a matter of desire that are not pursuable. But when we're talking about goals are that object. They are desirable results that are pursuable. So you must identify the result as being pursuable. So that's what it is. So when you go online, you see even in some places they define it to be aims. They define it to be objects, to be objectives, right? Is because it has a focus and it has a pathway by which you can get to the end result. And that is what goal is all about. So the question is, I know some of us might have had some process of engaging in retreats, quiet times, retracting to solitary places early this year, or perhaps you just move out of those moments into this training and you set certain goals for yourself. Is it the same definition you took to the table when you had this conversation with yourself, with your inner self? Those things that you have placed before yourself for 2024, are they pursuable? Okay, are they achievable? Are they desirable? And are they things that you can possibly, with certainty, okay, with high level of surety, you can achieve results? I've met people, I've counseled young people, having attempted several goals in life, they got tired, pissed off, and they just resort to other means of living because they are disappointed in themselves. Okay, it's unfortunate that this happened to such people, but that's the reason for gleaning on knowledge. Is the reason for going through this kind of training in order for you to be able to know how to navigate through life and doing things rightly. Okay, so that is what goal is all about. Don't forget, pursuable, desirable results. So they must be pursuable. Okay, so let's now look at what are the different areas of life that are highly essential. I've been able to coin about just 6 of them. There are so many other areas, but when you look at these critical areas, 6 areas, all other areas are intertwined within them. So I see these as a main set, and then you have some other subsets. So I call it the circle of personal life, circle of your personal growth. So there's no one that does not have things that you are dealing with in this. You have different nuances and different ramifications in these 6 essential areas of life. The first one is about your relationships. As human beings, we are wired to be social animals. Okay, again, still using the word in biology. Okay, we are wired to be social animals. We live in community, we thrive in community, and we grow in community. So the issue about your life that is pertaining to relationships cannot be overemphasized. So you cannot live alone. You cannot ostracize yourself and think that you're going to grow. It's not possible. So you grow within certain community that you intentionally decide to participate in or to belong to. So you have to choose the kind of community, social community and relationship community that you're going to belong to. And that is why I always appreciate those who have chosen to belong to our community, because our community is a community that made up of risk takers and change makers. So we say we are change makers because we facilitate processes of ensuring we create values and impact for people, especially those that are least privileged within communities, the youth in least privileged communities. So that is what relationship portends to us. And that area of your life is very, very essential. You cannot jettison that area, because when you abandon that area and you prioritize every other area at the expense of this, you will see lapses and you are going to see failures. So some people are so good in managing the process of their growth in other 5 essential areas, and then they are failing in these areas. You will definitely see. That's why you see some people, they are very, very rich. Financially, they are excellent. They are prosperous. But when it comes to the area of managing their social enterprises, managing their social life, managing their relationships, they are failing. Such people, you see the way by which their growth have been stunted. The other one is about your finance. So I'm going around that cycle in an anti-clockwise dimension. So you talk about the finance. I've heard many people say, "Oh, I'm very young, I don't have money," and all of that. So I'm not going to look at finance from monetary resource. I'm looking at finance from every basic resources that you are susceptible to or that you are opportuned to access. All accessible resources that you have in life are what we can classify to be finance. Because before now, the value that we place on money is not in paper. It used to be what we call trade by barter. What do you have? What do I have? Is in terms of services and exchange with other goods and all of that. In fact, some people used to bring physical goods like product for farms for them to be able to present as a means of financial transaction and all of that. So I don't want us to limit our knowledge on finance as just what you have in your bank account. Even if you don't have anything in your bank account, the few resources you have in your hand, okay, they are worth much more than whatever any other person have in their bank account. So it's just a matter of time before you translate the value of what you have in hand into financial measures, which can be in form of paper, either in naira, dollars, pound sterling, yen, or even in whatever other acceptable, globally acceptable means of financial transaction. So finance, that aspect of your life, are what you see as the basic resources. Like I used to tell people growing up, up until the time I started working and started earning salary and other means of financial income, I used to tell people that my major resource, my major keep resource are books. I mean, I have huge lot of books in my physical library, and of course I also have tapes and all of that. So anybody that wants to come into my library to access those things, we have to really pay something for it. Either you are paying money or you are paying in the value of relationship and all of that. So there are different ways we can monetize whatever resource we have in order for us to be able to define the path of our growth. Let me go quickly because of time to health and wellness. Health and wellness. We say health is wealth, Abi. And we can also look at health and wellness from not just medical sciences, but even from the dimension that is transcendental. I'm still going to talk about spiritual, but let's look at health and wellness from that transcendental responsibility that God has bestowed on us. Some people are extremely careless about their life. So when I'm talking about health and wellness, I'm talking about your general well-being. And it's usually a mindset. It starts from the mindset. Health and wellness, well-being start from the mindset. And that is why they usually say that human wellness is almost about 50% mental well-being. Okay, when you are mentally okay, whatever it is that is happening, either you're having fever or you're having a headache and all of that, all of those things just amount to just 50% of your healed health. Okay, so that means you have the chances of always getting recovery. I mean, I've counseled a number of people that have terminal disease and all of that, and they even outlive the years that have been described to them that they are going to live up to. I mean, just of recent, I read about the story of one of the renowned achievers in life, okay, who at the age of 45 had been asked to go and pack up his life, do all the necessary due diligence, do his wills, and then, just sign up because he's going to die in less than 1 week, right? And this person, because he believes so much, he has that resoluteness. He believes so much that God had already added, he said God had given him an obtained life. So why will whatever it is that is happening within his body, go against what God has said about himself? So he held on to that. He had a mentality that is superior to medicine. He had a mindset, a superior mindset that is beyond medical sciences or any form of even neuromedical sciences. It goes beyond that. So mindset is very, very key. And that's one of the things that you need to understand when it comes to growth in the area of your health and the area of your wellness. So as you are beginning this year, you need to begin to create that high level orientation for yourself that come what may, you are going to have a good life. You are going to enjoy your life. You are going to have an whole life, because wellness, well-being talks about having a whole life. Your hands, your eyes, you're going to see clearly. Whatever is happening within your neurons, your organs, all are going to work perfectly. And you make positive confession on a daily basis over this. Then the second to the last one, the fifth one, talks about the spiritual. I want to believe that we all know that life is spiritual. Life is spiritual. And as such, you need to live life spiritually. Life is spiritual. You need to live life spiritually. Why will someone come up with an understanding that you have to sit in a particular position for you to connect to the transcendental and uplift your spirit, and then be up high there for you to do some kind of meditation? I mean, as simple as meditation. Why would meditation be giving good health? Why would meditation be taking away diseases, sicknesses, and all of that? So life is spiritual. So nothing in life is to be taken casually. Okay, so life is very spiritual. So the question is how you would navigate through spiritual dimension for you to be able to connect with growth at that realm is another question that begs for answers. So the path that you need to set for yourself this year on spiritual growth, we're going to look at it briefly. And the final one, the final area talks about your profession. Your profession. I've looked at the dimension of all the participants here. I believe everyone, in one way or the other, have a discipline. You have a professional discipline. Either you are a teacher by discipline, or you are a pastor, or you are an aspiring project manager, or you are whatever industry you're functioning, as a medical doctor, as a counselor, as a data analyst. You have a profession, and that underscore an essential part of your life. So what are you going to make do with that part of your life is one of the things that you need to understand as part of your growth for this year and even beyond. So you don't need to like, oh, I didn't enjoy studying Yoruba, now I have Yoruba as my discipline. For crying out loud, that is a resource, that is an equipment that you have, put yourself through. You have gone through that pathway for 4 years. Some of us have gone to some universities that had extra years because of some issues, maybe strike, blah, 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 and all of that, or you have some issues in the course of your study. I mean, you have a number of years that you are prepared to grow in that career. Why do you want to stop? Okay, so part of the things that you need to also begin to look at that will make that whole holistic growth part for yourself is what you have invested in. So in a nutshell, when you're looking at all these essential areas of life, there are areas of critical investment that you need to constantly make. So it's not what you have done in 2023 or prior to 2023 that matters, but what new things you are going to do in these areas of life in 2024 is what we need to begin to look into, that will define the level of growth we are going to attain for this year. Are we on the same page up to this point? Are we on the same page?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect.
Yes,
Perfect.
sir.
So I know my time is fast spent. Let me just quickly dive into looking at two of the tools and frameworks that I want to share with us. This first one, I know we are all familiar with it. I mean, that's why I want to start from the known to the unknown, from the familiar to the unfamiliar, to the charted territory to the uncharted territory. So when we're talking about frameworks or tools or techniques, we are talking about what you can use as an extension of yourself. Is not inherent in you, but is an extension of yourself, based on certain principles, guided by certain laws or regulations. It's generally acceptable everywhere that you can use for you to be able to navigate through this pathway. Okay, so how can you set personal goals? Number one, you can use what we call SMART design. You can use what we call SMART objectives. Okay, you can use what we call SMART tool. And this SMART tool is an acronym where S stands for or represents specific. Okay, M stands for measurable. A stands for achievable. R stands for relevant. And the T stands for timely, or you say time bound. Okay, so all of these five, I can use the rest of the time to explain to us, but because I want to mention the second one, because that is a higher level of responsibility for you in setting personal goals for this year. You have been using this usual one and it seems you are not getting results. So you need to take a step further to use another tool or to use a double level tool in order for you to be able to achieve a greater result for this year. So, but in summary, what this SMART goal is trying to tell you is when you are making decisions, because what we are talking about setting personal goals is simply that you are on the table trying to create a robust plan for your journey for 2024. Okay, you have 366 days, you have spent 27 days. So by the time you are drawing out and you are scheming things out for the entire timeline remaining for the year, okay, you need certain boxes to tick, you need certain checklists to be created in order for you to be able to give yourself certain accounts at every point in time. And this is what SMART goal is all about. So your goals, number one, must be must be underscored. Your goals must be underscored. Your goal must be tangible, must be something that you can relate with. Okay, must be something that at every point in time you can give account for, as something that you know they are pursuable. And of course, because life is in phases for all races, life is within certain bounds of timelines. Okay, sometimes you measure it in terms of days, sometimes you even measure in terms of minutes. In fact, in some climes they measure in terms of moment, because now some endeavors runs at the speed of light, where we say you are running in nanoseconds, right? Some of our measurements are now in nanoseconds because things are running at the speed of light now, like flash, right? So these are the things. So you need to classify your goals, you need to classify your objectives for 2024 in all these different areas. What are the ones that you want to achieve within 1 month, the ones you want to achieve within 2 months, the ones you want to achieve within a day, within a week, and all of that. Then you now begin to set certain criteria, you set certain parameters, you set certain conditions for yourself by which you want to measure them. And you can go further to look at what are going to be the tools you will use for your measurement. This we can discuss in future conversation, but there are tools you can use to measure on a daily basis. A very good example is the checklist I mentioned. Then you can also have accountability partner, right? Like I said, we live in community, we thrive in community, and we grow in community. So you can have accountability partner within your community. And holistically, the community can also define ways by which you can measure your growth. One of the things that we've said to ourselves in the Engage with Healthcare initiative for this year is that part of our growth will be that we want to study. We want to study to show ourselves approved, a workman that need not to be ashamed, right? So we want to study. We are going to be having books we'll be reading every quarter and review. These are part of measurement. So if how much commitment you are going to give to it for you to be able to achieve that, because inherent in every book you read are certain principles, are underlining objectives that people want to share with you to make your journey smooth and make it realistic and achievable. So you need to interact with these things. So these are part of the things that SMART objective or SMART tool will help you to establish. Okay, let me quickly go to the second one, and that's to talk about OKR. I don't know how many of us have heard about or you have used the one we call OKR framework. OKR, again, is an acronym where O stands for objectives, K stands for key results, and K stands for key and R stands for results. Okay, so you have that as a formidable framework which you can use at a higher level, because some of us have these wild dreams. We have big dreams, okay, that is even bigger than not, and we are like, how will this thing be achieved? OKR framework is one of the things that you can use. And how do you use an OKR framework for you to simplify your results, achievable results for this year? Number one, you have to turn all those ideas into relatable goals. What I mean by relatable goals is you have to categorically put them into certain levels. There are certain, like the way I've explained to us about the 6 areas of life, you need to put all those goals into those areas. And some of them that are intertwined, some of them that are interrelated, you have to turn them into. So at the end of the day, maybe all the objectives you have for this year are just going to be just 2, because you shouldn't have too many objectives. So you need to find the interrelationship between all of the objectives. This is what OKR is telling you. You have to find all of the objectives and then interrelate them. I'll give you a very good example. Maybe your spiritual life, your concern and your goal for this year is you want to be more graceful, right? You want to embrace more grace, that your life will exude greater grace. You know, there's a level of grace and a level of greater grace, right? So there's a level at which you can move that when people see you, okay, they know that this is someone who is favored by God. I mean, it doesn't just come and bestowed on people. It's a walk. I mean, it's a pathway. Is a level of growth, right? So how do you maintain that and how do you achieve that? Put it to one side. Another one in your profession, right? You just want to be, maybe in one way or the other, you've been attempting some exams many times, you have been failing, and that fear has now grown so deep in you, right? Okay, and you're like, you want to go in again for the exam this year because you have a window for you to apply and sit for the exam before the payment expires. For many of us who have been writing professional exams, you know, you always have a window period for you to sit for any exams, even if you are resitting, right? So how do you set a goal for you to be able to achieve that? You can put these things side by side and put it within a simple bucket or a simple box and say in your spiritual life, your objective is you want to move from one level of grace to the other, right? And that grace is what you need to make all your struggles in your academics or in your professional pursuits, right, to be kind of like less overwhelming. Because, I mean, for as many of us who have excelled in professional pursuits and academics, you realize that it's not even the number of hours you spend in reading that matters, right? Because the kind of favor that you received, the kind of mercy that you received, even when you have not written anything, you still passed. How do you explain that? Right? So you can put that side by side while you will pursue to do what you can do within the sphere of human. Like you've read your books, you've dot all T's and crosses all I's. You know that you need the influence of God to let you pass. So you can put those things. So this is what I'm talking about. So you can interconnect those objectives that you know that have that kind of relationship. So this is one of the things that, so that you don't complicate your pursuit this year. You know naturally that as you are pursuing God, invariably, or as you are pursuing the grace that God alone can give, invariably you are also making favor available for you to excel in your studies and to also succeed in your career. So that becomes more like you have a primary pursuit, you have a primary goal, and then you have a secondary goal. So that means that if you are reading and you are not pursuing God, you know you will not achieve the secondary goal. So that is one of the things that aircraft frameworks is helping you. And then the same thing happens with the key result that you want to achieve. For you to achieve those key results, you have to set certain parameters for initiative. What are the things that you need to do? That's what initiatives are all about. What are the activities that you need to perform for you to be able to get these desirable key results? I mean, there are many results that will come your way. Like, for instance, in my personal life last year, there are certain things I never pursued that I got because they became like an aftermath of the main result. The main result, like what we call a residue of the main result, the residue of my key results. So you need to set certain initiatives that will enable you to get those residue. Okay, so let me just move away from here. Please, if you have a question, you can begin to drop them in the chat. So let me now look at I'm going to end here with some practical steps. I have just about 5 minutes, but let me see how many of the practical steps I can be able to give to us. Let me pick the first area of our life, which talks about the career goals. So what are the practical steps you need to take in setting career or professional goal? Number one, you have to set critical objective for yourself this year. I mean, what is the pattern of trajectory that you want to achieve? I remember in 2023, one of the things I said to myself is, I've had more than enough of masters. I mean, as of January, I had my third master's, and I'm like, no, I mean, enough is enough. Even though I'm still on the path to have my fourth master as at last year, January, I'm like, no, there have to be other opportunities whereby I will embark and complete and attain other critical area in terms of my profession. So I began to think about what are the other professional exams I need to take, what are the other areas that connect with my career pursuit. And so I set objectives in those things, in those areas. Part of it is I need to amplify my social enterprise because it's largely connected to my career, my profession. I need to also look at international opportunities in my career and profession. So I set these objectives and I created a blueprint of how I'm going to begin. So I looked from within the immediate environment where I was functioning at that time, which are areas and communities where I've already plugged into, okay? And I looked for better opportunities, starting with volunteering. Volunteering in PMI, looked for a great opportunity in PMI, looked within United Nations, opportunity in United Nations, and then I began to unearth the process for trajectory. So these are things that you need to do. You have to be very practical about your objectives. Set it, look within. What are the things that you want to make a difference in your life? So that by the time you are ending this year and moving into 2025, you know that you are now a different person. You are no longer at the same level at which you began the year. Then the second thing is for you to now create the robust plan. Because in different areas, you are going to have different objectives. You might have 1, 2, 3, 4 objectives. Or 1, 2, like I said, you should reduce it to very few objectives so that you don't have to encumber yourself with a lot of activities and responsibilities. So interconnect them using the OKR and have it within 2, 3 objectives. Then you create a plan on how you want to achieve the objective. So there's a way you can create a robust plan. For everyone here, I would like you to drop your email address. I'm going to share a template with you. This is one of my commitments to everybody attending. I will share a template with you that helps you to create a robust plan when it comes to, creating your personal goals for 2024. So drop your email address there. I'll share with you afterwards. So you can create that plan and then you use the plan to set certain parameters for your accountability. And then the final one in your career or professional goal is for you to now begin to look for areas of opportunities. And those opportunities start from within your immediate community and networks. Starting from here, there are a lot of opportunities. I keep telling everyone that is here in the community in engagement with us. There are a lot of opportunities here that we are not unearthing. There are a lot of opportunities here within our networking opportunities, networking initiatives. Through our volunteering, there are a lot of opportunities. There's nothing you are looking for at this level that you won't find here. And the reason is because of the way we are also growing. We started from 2 people, from 3 people. Now we are gradually growing into not just only localizing ourselves here, but thinking, orientating ourselves to become a global community. And that's why we have a community in Kenya, we have community in Ghana, and we are looking forward to also moving into other parts of Africa this year. So these are ways by which you seek for opportunities. You start from the known community and then begin to interact and relate with unknown community. And guess what? There are dimensionless, there are untold opportunities out there on the internet. And that is why, as much as I see them, I always share with us in the community. Finally, because of time, let me talk about wellness, and I'm going to round up here. Wellness, how can you practically, many of us, if not majority of us, are guilty about this because we are so busy setting goals in other areas of life, the other 5 areas of life. But when it comes to area of our wellness and well-being and health, we usually abandon that. The question is, what have you set as an objective for yourself this year? Are you someone who is dealing with obesity and you are thinking of slimming down? What have you thought about? What have you set as a goal for you to keep fit? Okay, because bodily exercise is very, very important. Okay, as much as spiritual exercise is very, very important. For you to stay well, for you to keep fit, you need to have objectives. Some of us need to plan on how to enter gym this year. Some of us need to do a simple walk. I remember again, one of my objectives for 2023, which I was able to achieve, is to ensure that I have minimum of 3,000 walk every day. 3,000, minimum of 3,000 walk every day. So guess what I did initially? I have to buy a wristwatch that will help me be accountable to that. So I have a wristwatch, an AI wristwatch that reminds me, because I've set it from the beginning of January 2023. So the day I try to miss it, my wristwatch reminds me. So even if it's going to be in the midnight, once I get to my estate, I'll just walk around and be able to achieve it. So throughout that year, I was able to maintain consistently. I'm not saying this to gainsay, or I was able to maintain consistently my body weight, even though I don't have that huge body weight. But guess what? I could have added undue body weight last year if care was not taken. But because I was able to set that out, so some of us had to do this either on a short-term base or on a long-term base. We need to intentionally be deliberate, pursue this as a goal this year. And the final thought I'm going to be sharing with us is, some of us, we know critically that we have underlying health issues. So how do you want to improve on monitoring and controlling the nuances that those underlying issues have with you? It's part of your growth pattern this year. Don't accept as a matter of orientation that that is who you are and that is what you are going to battle with forever. No, there are ways by which you can manage your situation to live longer and to live better, live happier. They say the life now in Nigeria is all about hustling and bustling. I keep telling people I've been living here in Lagos for almost about 15, 16 years. I've been hearing about people hustling, bustling, stressing themselves. That has not been my lot because it's about an intention. It's about a choice. Everywhere you live on this planet Earth gives an opportunity to choose whichever way you want to go in life. So the question is, are you going to choose to also be part of the hustling and bustling, or you are going to be decisive enough to plan your life, okay, that regardless of what you are going to do this year, you still have attention you will give to your health and stay well. I'm going to stop here so that I can accept. I still have other thoughts, but let me just stop here so that in responding to some of our questions, I'll be able to share more. Thank you. Over back to you, Tolani.
Wow, wow. What an amazing session. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for this. This has really helped us to realize that there are goals. Goals are supposed to be achievable targets. They are not fantasies. They are not wishful thinking. They are not daydreams. Everybody say thank you to Dr. Gbolahan. Thank you so much, sir. We really, really appreciate. That was an amazing session. So everyone, please drop your questions. If you have any questions, kindly drop them so that I can start answering those questions before we close. We want to round up in 10 to 15 minutes max. So please kindly drop your questions and also drop your email addresses for the templates that is also going to send to everybody. So, but in the meantime, while you're dropping your questions, what have you gained? What have you gained? What practical steps have you learned? As for me, like literally right now, as he was talking, I started setting a particular goal. So I said for today, before the end of this day, I'm going to conclude on my social media professional portfolio, because I'm a social media manager, but I don't have a professional portfolio and it doesn't look good on me that I don't have a professional, but even though there are really good jobs that I've done. So I'm making sure that I'm creating my portfolio before the end of today and just fine-tuning it, probably editing my LinkedIn profile to add my portfolio and just sort it out. So that's the goal. And I already outlined steps that I'm going to go about it so that I'm not overwhelmed. So what did you people learn? What practical steps can you say you learned today that you can infuse into your daily life, into your professional life, into your... Okay, who is raising their hand? Who is raising their hand, please? Is there anybody raising your hand here?
Yes, Reverend Dr. Adetunji. You can
Okay,
unmute.
sir, please, sir, you can unmute. You can unmute and speak, sir. You can unmute.
And good evening to our facilitator. Thank you. I actually have been listening to this seminar alongside my daughters. One of them said she wants to ask a question, so let's ask the question.
Good evening, sir, and good evening to all.
Good evening. I can't hear you. I can't hear you at all. Are you speaking? I cannot hear you. Can anybody hear her? I can't hear anything she's saying.
No, I guess is a network issue.
Oh.
Reverend Doctor, we can't hear you. Wow, we can't hear you. Maybe you move closer to your mic so that we'll be able to have
Yes,
you.
we can't hear you. We can't hear you at all, please.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
Any other questions while they sort it out on your end? Does anybody have any questions, or is there anything you want to share? Anything you
Okay,
learned?
you can unmute.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate you for this teaching. Actually, for me, just like Ola mentioned, as the training was going on, I began to ruminate on the things I already set to achieve this year, especially the first quarter of the year, and I discovered that there are some things I've already abandoned. So these seminars gingered me to go back to them, especially with final course I'm writing. I just failed the first module and I haven't gone back. Although I can retake it until I pass, I can't move on. So thank you for this session. In fact, it has reawakening me, and I know also does same for some other persons. So, and as for some of the things you taught us tonight, I want to talk about the OKR framework. I think this framework it's going to work best for me because it makes my goal setting more simpler because I'm able to understand the cause very well of setting all these setting achievable goals even with time. So the OKR, thank you for bringing this OKR framework. Actually, I think it works best for me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, Sharon. Is there anybody else? Any questions? Anybody raising their hands?
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you for this beautiful section, sir. It's really insightful. So my question is just okay, is it okay to have like a benchmark when it comes to setting goals? Like, let's say for example, in setting a goal to say, okay, for like every month this year, I'm going to be having, let's say, like maybe 3 books to read per month. Then you're not like, at least, even if I'm not able to cover up for like the 3, is it okay to set a benchmark to say if I am able to do 2 per month? Can that one fly? I don't know, maybe that question is clear.
Yeah, it's very clear. So that's exactly what OKR framework is all about. You know, I told you that this is a higher level of setting your goal, using a tool to set your goal. So when I send the template to us, you will see OKR helps you to fragmentize the pursuit of your goals. I mean, you've created the objectives, you set when you're doing the planning, how do you fragmentize or how do you put into phases? That's another word to use. How do you put into phases? So the phases may be in terms of month, maybe in terms of quarter, maybe in terms of, a short run, like you are doing a sprint, 2 weeks. You know, some might even be in terms of, and let me also sound a note of warning. We don't need to be over ambitious about all these things. I mean, if it's just one thing you know you can achieve, it's rather for you because there are some of us that even our personality type comes in place. So I believe that the organizers in the near future we're still going to look at talking about personality type. You need to know who you are, your personal, you yourself. What are areas of your strength? What are areas of your weaknesses? I mean, what's your disposition to pursuit? Some people can multitask. Someone like me, I can do 5 things at the same time within a month and still achieve even 100%, 80, 85, 90% about them. Some people is just one thing they need to do in order not to have a divided focus. So you need to understand yourself so that when you are setting this goal, you are creating these objectives, you don't encumber yourself. At the end of the day, you now get discouraged because one of the things that also help is the more you achieve, the more you're encouraged to continue. Okay, so set smaller objectives, smaller goals, and then you can now move in sprint. 2 weeks, for the first 2 weeks in a month, look at what are the things you want to achieve. When you are able to record success on those things according to OKR frameworks, you can be encouraged to set the next one. In prayer management, we call it agile methodology. You use agile to run sprints in an iterative form. Okay, and then you can have progressive elaboration of your holistic plan for the entire year. So at the end of the day, if you put all the successes, all the outcomes and results together, it makes a bigger picture, like different part of the puzzle. So that's what OKR talks about, and that's what I think in this case you need. Create it every month, account for it, have an accountability partner, and then you can begin to achieve success and begin to celebrate yourself. Over to you.
Thank you very much for that response, sir. Olumide, I hope your question has been answered.
I think Reverend Doctor is still raising up his hand.
Yes, Reverend Doctor, yes, he's raising. So I would, Reverend Doctor, you can unmute and ask your question now, sir.
You are still very far away from your mic.
I am close to the mic.
Okay, we can hear you clearly now.
my daughter says, is there any ebook you can share with them for ages 10 to 12 students on achieving their age-related set goals?
Oh, okay. If there are books for ages 10 to 12 on setting goals, I will look in my archive. I'm sure I should have something, especially there are things that have been created by PMI for young people. So I will look at it and then send them to you. And if not, I'm sure that this is now a challenge for every one of us here. So that at the end of this year, by the time you are achieving your goal, an opportunity for you to also begin to document things that younger generation can relate with. I mean, this should be part of your goal too. Okay, your success story should be something that someone who is coming behind you should also be able to read and relate with. Okay.
Hello, I think I have a question.
Yeah, Raymond, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, AG, for this presentation. Has been very much enlightening because at the beginning of this year, I have an accountability partner here. So all of these things you've said just buttresses that, okay, I'm on the right path and we are on the right path, right? And so it's just making us get a bit more clarity on how to move forward with our goals and using the tools you've provided, the OKR and the SMART tool. But my question is, on my goal, on one of my goals, which is I think is a career goal, not a career goal actually now, it's like I have a project in mind and I've tagged it for like a year plan, right? It's a yearly goal. So is there any tool, because you've mentioned that goals are, how will I put it now, are achievable outcomes within a short period of time. Can your goals be for a long, lengthy period? And do you have like steps to achieve these goals, right? When it's something that is quite big and it's over a very long period of time. I think that's the question I want to ask at this point.
Okay, so based on what your question, that means you have been using the SMART framework for your goal setting. So yes, the answer is very simple. Yes, because the fifth framework under the SMART goal, the SMART framework talks about time bound. So that's where you do time management planning. So how do you create your robust time management plan on your strategic goals and strategic objectives? So it can be a short term, that's measurement by time now. It can be long term, it can be medium term. If you are talking about short term, it can be within the shorter sprints, as I mentioned, 2 weeks, in terms of hours, in terms of days. On a medium term, it can be in terms of weeks or months. And then on a longer term, it can be in terms of years. Let me give you a very practical, personal example. For as many people that I've had to have conversations with, I usually use this for them.
I was about to
At
ask
the point,
that.
sorry?
I said I was about to ask for a practical example, actually.
Yes. So I want to use my personal practical example. So at the time while I was graduating from school, I realized, because some of these things at that point I've known them, so it's just how to relate with them. Because I've read a lot, I've interacted, I've attended a lot of seminars and all of that. So I knew I needed to plan for my life post graduation outside school. So I spent a lot of time praying, thinking and all of that. And in the process, I realized that I needed to focus more. I'd gotten the full grasp of my professional life, what I'm going to do and all of that. I've gotten the full grasp of my finance, that's not going to be an issue. I've gotten the full grips of my spiritual life, but area of relationship became a critical issue, right? At that time, I was already in a relationship and I was like, okay, relationship is not just about myself. I'm talking about marital relationship now. It's not just about myself. It's about these two parties, right? I can get everything right. If this other party did not get things right, all of these my beautiful plans can be mad, right? So I just thought about it that I've created short plans on these things. I need to consider how to create not just only medium plan, even long-term plan. Because marriage is where you're going to spend most part of your life, more than 50% of your life, you're going to spend in that institution. So I had to sit down, prayerfully think about it and have a conversation around it. So in the process, I came up with 5-year plan, which to me became my medium plan for relationship. And then long-term plan, which was about 10 years. Guess what? By the time I shared that 5-year plan with the person I was dating that time, we ended the relationship. So this is how critical planning is, and talking about setting goals for yourself. You may also be in a relationship now, you are thinking that, everything is going to, and you are wasting all your investment. Whereas what you are pursuing as a matter of personal growth may be a total deviation from what the other party is also, the path of the other person's trajectory. So you have to consider all of these things. And either smart goal or OKR will simply do that for you if you know what to do. So that's how practical some of these things are. I can go on and on. I can share my my professional one with you too, which also was part of the reasons why I had to stop that relationship, because the truth of the matter is, except two agree, they can't work together. So you have to start, so that there are certain interpersonal relationships you have to cut this year. Otherwise, it's going to stunt your growth. There are certain people that will not follow your pathway of growth. If you still hold back to them, they become the log that will prevent you. I mean, there are certain hurdles that you can't struggle with. You can't just scale through. So if you keep holding on at that phase, the truth of the matter is your growth will be stunted, and you will have spent the year achieving nothing.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate your story. Yes, it has inspired me to do better. And all right.
Hey, so I guess that means we don't have any more questions. But if you do, you can drop them on the group chats. And on the group chat, we'll have discussions about it. So, Dr. Gbolahan, we want to say a very big thank you. Thank you so much for this session. It was an amazing one. We pray that God bless you and increase you in infinite wisdom and knowledge and understanding in all that you do, in Jesus' name.
Amen.
So we are coming to the end of this training. I really hope that everything that we learned here today are not just we're not just hearing it and we're not being like the person that looks at himself in the mirror and goes back and forgets the manner of man he is, but that we actually put this, what we've learned, into practice for us. It could be from anything as mundane, setting your daily goals. You could start from your daily, even hourly goals. Start from things like that. And then, like you said, the more you get success from it, the more you're inspired to set even more goals. And I pray that God helps us to achieve all our set goals in Jesus' name. So if we have a new member here, Temi Tokpe. Yes, I didn't forget Oyelami. Would you like to be a member of our volunteer group for Engage Youth Africa? You can go on our website to read more about us and our goals and things that we do. And it will be really nice to have you as a member of our volunteer. Would you like to be one? And if you do, you can send a message to us on WhatsApp or on Instagram. Thank you very much. So we're coming to the end of the meeting, and you can also go to our website at www.aiinitiative, that is EYAinitiative.org, to read more about us and to send in your questions, your opinions, and we'll definitely reach out to you. What other new people do we have in the group, please, aside Temitope? Who else is a new person? You can unmute and identify yourself, please.
I can see Engineer Victor Ruada is a very good friend of mine. So Engineer Victor, thank you for joining.
Oh,
All the way.
Good evening, Engineer Victor.
Or Port Harcourt. So thank you for joining.
Yes, please. Can you introduce yourself, please, Engineer Victor? Also, I can see a Salami Muritala. Please, would you like to introduce yourself? You can unmute and introduce yourself, please.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Yeah, this okay.
Please,
this
one
is
at a
Salami.
time.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, Engineer Victor, let's hear you, please.
Okay. Yes. Good evening, everybody, and thank you, Doc, for that wonderful presentation. I mean, I'm a better person after this. So my name is Engineer Victor. Rather, I'm an engineer. I work in energy sector, and I'm a project management enthusiast. I'm also into some kind of. I'm also a business and I'm an entrepreneur also, and I am glad to have been in this meeting. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Victor. Thank you so much. Mr. Salami, please, can you unmute and introduce yourself? Salami Muritala, please, can you unmute and introduce yourself? Thank you.
Everyone, Federal Government College of Ogbomoso. So I got the link to join the Zoom from our
Hello, Mr. Salami, we can hear you.
Thank you so much, and have a great day.
We could not hear you. The network was really bad.
Okay, now can you hear me now?
Yes, we can
Can
hear
you
you
hear me now?
Yes, we
Yeah,
can hear you
I'll say
now.
I'm Salami now. Yes. I'm secondary school mate of Dr. Gbolahan at Federal Government College of Ogbomoso.
Wow, nice to meet you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Okay,
you,
yeah, I really
Salami.
appreciate the acknowledgement, and I really love that. So, yeah, kudos, Dr. Gbolahan. Kudos to you. I really
Thank
enjoyed
you,
the lecture.
bro.
It's very interesting. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Sorry, Tolani, if I permitted, just to announce to everybody, by God's grace, we are going to be communicating with everybody again on social media. You're going to see us. We are, almost about to launch our life enhancement program. So these are part of things that we are going to be learning. It's like I said, growth is a process. So let's all work out for the life enhancement mentorship program so that we can all benefit from this program. And some of us are also going to be facilitators. You could hear what the younger generations, the question they are asking. So some of the processes you've gone through that makes you succeed or that is helping you in your growth path. So you need to share with younger generation as well. So these are part of the things that this link is all about. The life enhancement mentorship program is about. Thank you. So Tolani, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so much, sir. God bless you. So you can check the chat and you would see the links for all our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Please join, please follow us and engage with our posts because it's a digital world. So we have to be active on every social media platform that we can afford to be on. So please follow us, and we're always having this monthly training session every month ending. So please, it'll be nice for you to join. This month is amazing. Next month is even going to be more amazing. So let's all work towards being there next month. Thank you so much for everyone that joined. Thank you for your time, your attention, for the questions, and we will see you guys next month by the grace of God. So go on setting goals, stay hungry, stay foolish, and have an amazing day. Okay, Bola, please, I'll hand over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tolani, for doing a great job. Thank you, everyone, for participating. And thank you so much, Architect Dr. Gbolahan. Also, really appreciate your presence and the wisdom that you've shared. So on this note, we would like to say thank you to everyone, and we'll be rounding up. So also for new members that join, if you would like to be a part of our volunteer community, you could please reach out to us, send us a DM on our social media platform, or through the person that sent you the link, or reach out to, I could drop my number so you could reach out to me so I could engage better and then give you more details. Then if you'd like to be a part of us, we could officially welcome you to, so you could indicate in the chat box before we end so I can just take notes and then follow up from there. So thank you everyone once again, and then we'll see you again next month to have another wonderful session. Thank you for staying till the end. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Have a lovely
Enjoy the
week.
rest of your weekend.
And you
Yes.
too. Yeah, stay knowledge hungry,
Stay
Mr.
hungry.
Victor.
Thank you.
Good morning, Engineer Victor.